you've ever thought it would be great if you could design your own knit sweater, this video is for you. Bold, detailed, and full of texture, that's what custom knitted products like sweaters, cardigans, t-shirts, and more can bring to your brand or your personal wardrobe. In this video, we'll explore the best practices for creating knitted sweater designs with Knitwise, the most exciting knit-on-demand platform out there. Firstly, let's understand the basics of how your design translates into a knitted product. Custom knitwear is made with the jacquard knitting technique. This intricate method gives precise control over colors and structures, resulting in stunning and detailed patterns. You've noticed that knitwear has a distinct pixel-style aesthetic. This is because, with the jacquard technique, each pixel in your design becomes a single knitted loop in your product. You can see in this example how every pixel from the digital design translates into the final knit. This means you have a great opportunity for intricate and detailed designs that'll look super crisp and sharp when knitted. But with that, you have to keep in mind some color limitations. Overall, you have a palette of 36 different yarn colors to choose from when preparing your designs, but you can use a maximum of 4 yarn colors per design. It might sound limiting at first, but there's quite a lot of detail and richness you can achieve in your designs. The important thing is to be intentional with your color choices. If you create your designs from scratch, pick your yarn colors before designing and create with them in mind. Or, if you want to use a pre-created image, make sure it'll work with a reduced color palette. Images with a large variety of different colors might not work great when reduced to the 4-color limit. You can see the available yarn color palette here on Knitwise's product page. Here, you'll see the color codes you can copy and a swatch library you can download for later use. On the topic of colors, a trick to get the best detailed results for your knitwear designs is to avoid low contrast colors. On screen, colors that are close to one another in shades might look good, for example combining the lighter shades like bleach, taupe, and bone. But when knit, these colors can blend too much into one another and the intended detailing of the design disappears. The same can happen with darker shades, for example combining the colors burgundy and soil. While on screen they seem to work well, but when knitted, the contrast between them is too low. So make sure to choose colors that are high in contrast, especially if you're working with more realistic images and want to create shading for elements in your designs. Another thing to keep in mind is the base color of your designs. If you're going for the more vibrant and contrasting look, a darker base color will work best. The jacquard knitting technique creates a tightly bound structure, so the darker colors will look more solid. This doesn't mean you shouldn't design with lighter colors. Just keep in mind that your design elements will stand out more with a high contrast base color. In production, your knitwear is initially made as separate panels that are then assembled to create the full product shape. This means you have the opportunity to customize each of the product panels individually. For example, you can create a design that's different on the front or the back of the product, or play around with different colors or patterns for the sleeves. We have a detailed guide on how to design alignment works on our design tutorial page. I'll leave a link to it in the description, so be sure to take a look after watching the video. When designing your knitwear, you have the option to choose a trim color. This color will count in the 4 yarn color limit and has to be the same across all trim placements. It's a great way to use one of your design colors as accents, or you can specifically design with a certain trim color in mind. For example, in this design, the trim is intentionally the darker color to accentuate the melt effect at the top of the sweater. You can choose to either add more contrast to your knit or have a more seamless look with the same colored trim. Now that we're familiar with the best practices of designing for knitwear, let's take a look at the tools you can use to prepare your designs. You have 2 options. You can use our Design Maker or design using the downloadable Photoshop templates. With the Knitwise Design Maker, you can upload pre-created images and tweak them to how you'd like your knits to look. You have the option to add one image or multiple different elements, resize them, adjust their placements and alignment to create your composition. Be sure you take a look at the size and quality requirements before preparing your images. For best results, use an image with 150 dpi resolution, 1500 by 1500 pixels minimum size, and over 100 kilobyte file size. When adding your images, the Design Maker will automatically turn them into a 4-color pixel art. You can see the artwork colors here, adjust them, as well as choose the base color and the color of the trim. Remember that you have a limit of 4 colors per design, and the base and trim colors count as part of that 4-color palette. So, for example, in this design I have here, I'll choose this one to be the base, and this one for the trim. Once you're happy with your color choices, here you can choose the style of your design. You can have a more solid look for clearer color separation in the image, or you can go with the pixelated look. Over here, you can choose to see your design in a 3D mock-up view. This gives you a good look at how the product will curve and look once assembled. Next up, you can adjust your design for each of the product sizes. This step will help you make sure all design elements look proportionate on all the product sizes. Once you're happy with your adjustments, you can move on to the review stage and save your new product design. Another way you can prepare your knitwear designs is to use our Photoshop templates. You can download the templates for each of the products under the Design Methods tab, or when you choose to create a product template. Additionally, you can download the available yarn color palette and import it to Photoshop for easy access. Within the template, you'll see all the product panels, similar to the Design Maker view, and you can either add and work with pre-created design elements or draw your designs from scratch. If you're choosing to draw your designs right in the template, our downloadable pixel brushes will come in handy for you here. As we've learned, each pixel in your design will be a loop in your knit, so when drawing your designs, you have to think in harder and crisper edges rather than smooth lines. When you work with smooth edges in software like Photoshop, it causes an anti-aliasing effect, which in turn creates hidden colors within your design. What does this effect look like? Let's check an example. So while from afar it might look like there's a strict, crisp border between these two colors in this design, if we zoom in, you'll see that new hidden transitional colors are created in between to give the line that smooth effect. To avoid this, make sure you're designing with color opacity at 100%. And use either the pen tool or download our pixel brushes. You can find them on our design toolkit page. I'll leave a link to it in the video description for easy access. When creating your designs with the Photoshop templates, there are multiple steps to make sure you're preparing your files correctly, like indexing your design colors and saving the design in the right format. We have a great step-by-step explanation on our design tutorial page that you'll find linked in the description below as well. I highly suggest that you use this guide when working with the Photoshop templates. Another tool we've prepared to help you along the way is the Pre-Made Patterns collection. These are pre-made design templates you can use and adjust in the Design Maker. For example, if you're looking for a great ugly Christmas sweater design, we've got many different patterns that you can choose from. In the Design Maker, you can change the colors in the design, add more design layers like logo, text, or images to build your own customized version. But what to do if you don't want to design yourself? Well, don't let that stop you from creating amazing knitwear. We've assembled a network of expert knitwear designers that you can hire to turn your vision into artwork. Find all the designers you can connect with on this page. I'll have it linked in the description. Here you can take a look at their portfolios and get in touch with them to start discussing creating your designs. All of these designers have been vetted by our team and have had successful previous collaborations with many happy clients, so you're in good hands. Now that you're familiar with the guidelines and tools, it's time to get to designing. Make sure you go over our detailed design tutorial page. It's a great resource to bookmark so you have it in handy when designing. The link to it and other useful resources is in the description below, so be sure to check them out. Happy designing!